Hey everybody, it's Ben Broussard, founder of High Performance Academy, author of the New York Times bestselling book, The Motivation Manifesto. You know who I am, you know where we're at. We are in week number 3 of High Performance Academy Physiology. We're going to talk about your body, your brain, your breath, how you're managing your fitness, your nutrition, how you're optimizing. We're getting into my favorite topic in high performance because I truly believe if you manage the temple, then all the thoughts are good. You manage the temple, the interactions are good. You take care of yourself and everything changes. And I can share with you the number one question after having been teaching now for 19 years straight that I always receive is, where does the kid get his energy? You know, is it cocaine? No, it's not. It's like, is he on caffeine all the time? Is it something some magical mix of elixirs and things that he's taken? Everyone thinks I have some trick, but I really don't. It is the sort of culmination of everything I'm doing in these areas that frankly gives me the physical energy to have the mental stamina to make it through the day to accomplish my goals. That gives me the physical energy to have a good positive mindset when I interact with other people. That gives me the physical energy to feel happy, buoyant, joyous, alive, alert, present to the moment. I think everything that we desire of life ultimately will come from the physical energy that we have. I mean, think about it. You want to be an amazing parent, your energy's low, it's hard. I mean, it's a struggle, it's a fight. It's not that you can't do it. Look, we can all be tired or sick and still be extraordinary people, right? We've seen people rise to the top, even when they're challenged in that way. But we also know that over an enduring period of time, high performance, which remember we defined as heightened and sustained performance, is almost impossible if you don't have a strong base of physical vitality and health. So let's fix that area of our lives. And I'm going to start right off the bat with a challenge to you. If you have never done it before, then make a decision today that the next 12 months of your life are going to be the healthiest of your life, as far as you can control it. Now look, I know in the next couple months you might get diagnosed with something, you might get sick, something awful might happen. Look, we all know that life comes up, and during those times when everything's challenging, those are the times when we get the asterisks. The asterisk is the optimizers. When we're just fatigued, sick, super stressed, we get some bad diagnosis, that's the time we really have to optimize our energy with every area, every vehicle we can, whether it's supplementation or changes in diet and exercise, or even in medication if you have to go there. Like, we all have those times. But my purpose and drive for you in this session, if we got nothing else except a deep commitment from you, a real deep commitment to say, for the first time in my life, I'm going to dedicate a year to getting extraordinarily vibrant, physically healthy. I'm going to eat my best, do my best exercise, take care of the 3 B's, which we'll talk you through. If you'll just decide that, then we've already won. I can stop. I'm off. I'm done. It's like, if that's all we accomplish, we win today. Because most people have never done it. They said, I'm going to go on a 6-week diet. I'm going to do a 1-week detox. And they're so sort of myopic in their thinking about their health. What I would love you to do is challenge yourself. Say, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to make this next year the most, and I mean, not if next year is 9 months from you or wherever you're at in the world or whatever time you're watching this. I mean, from this day forward, for the next 12 months, say, I'm going to get there. I'm going to start today. I'm going to eat healthier. I'm going to work out more regularly. I'm going to take care of myself in the way that Brendan has taught me and the way that I know, because I'll share with you so much of high performance physiology is common sense. But it's the culmination of that common sense that gives you that vitality, because remember, common sense is not always common practice. I'll say it 1,000,000 times in High Performance Academy. Taking a person from good to great is usually just getting them to optimize the fundamentals again, to run routines on those fundamentals again, the things they forgot, the things they just stopped doing even though they should. And there's a lot of things in your life, I bet even watching this now, you're like, yeah, just look at the chart. I know I should eat better. I know I should work out differently. I should take care of myself better. Make a decision to do it today. And if you need the why stack, remember when we were talking about high performance learning, you need to stack on the whys of doing this? I gave you them at the very beginning. Your physical vitality and energy and health gives you that emotional range to truly enjoy life. that emotional, social range to be more extraordinary with people, to be more giving and loving and caring. It makes you a role model. Look, when everybody else is wiped out and you come in there with a positive mindset, fully charged, guess what? You lift up their energy. And as you lift up their energy, you lift up the energy of the world. So believe me, when I first said in 2012 in a book called The Charge, Activating the 10 Human Drives That Make Us Alive, Make You Feel Alive. When I wrote that book, I had a line in there the publishers wanted to take out. They thought it was too hard. Because I said the emotional energy of the world is flatlining. And I believe that. You walk down the street and you see these people like, you go in the meetings, you're like, oh gosh, Starbucks, It's like people are lacking energy. What else do we want of life? What else is life made of? It's all energy anyway. Why don't we tap into it, optimize it, rise that frequency, get in that place where we just feel alive again? That comes from everything we talked about in the last week's sessions. Managing your psychology, projecting positivity, giving kindness and appreciation to the world, experiencing gratitude, reframing and recasting negative thoughts, managing your mind, for happiness, to overcome fear. All those things we talked about, that's the mental aspect, but even that stuff is hard if you're wiped out. So let's make this decision today. I know I'm going on and on about this, but I can share with you so many people that get to New Year's or whatever time of the year, they're like, oh, yeah, I'll set some goals physically. I'm going to go to the gym once in a while, and then they don't. Or people who are going to the gym, they're doing all their fitness right, but they eat terribly. Or they're missing the 3 B's, which is really the base. So today I'm going to go through each of these 3 areas for you in the sessions in this week's training on physiology. And I'm going to give you a download with my full physiology performance plan, including optimizers. Optimizers are things like, okay, if you're doing everything right, but you're still super stressed, like, is there a supplement I can take? If I'm really trying to just get my breakfast handled down in a routine ways, is there a shake I could make to make it a little easier? What do you do when you're on the road traveling? What do you take with you? Is there something I could do to get healthier, higher levels of fats that are good for me versus, eating terrible stuff? All that stuff is in your physiology performance plan, which you get to download with this session. I will share with you. I'm going to cover a lot today in these sessions. And here's the reality. If you just implemented a few of them, you'd feel a tremendous difference. And if you're already there, if you're already like, dude, Brendan, I'm healthier than you, I'm fitter than you, I'm in a much better place than you, I'm like, rock on. I hope we can find one area today that you'll decide to optimize and go to the next level on. Because look, we can all go to the next level of our physiology. And when we do, we start hitting high performance. So let's get to the base of the triangle, what we call the 3 B's at High Performance Academy, the most simple, straightforward stuff that we forget to do. Optimize our brain, our body, and our breath. The 3 B's are everything. And most people never even think about these things. And so many of these I'm going to share with you is common sense. You can be like, oh yeah. But what I want to show you as I reveal these, I'm going to go one at a time in each of these areas. In other words, I'll reveal a row at a time. So you can see, like, if these started stacking on it, there's 4 things here, 3 rows, that's 12 different strategies. They're all simple, they're all basic. I think they're common sense, but people forget them. For example, while we've been talking, while I've been with you, at any moment in this video, have you been attentive to your breath? Before you started the video, were you attentive to your breath? Do you know in high performance learning and training, one of the first things we'll do is get people to start monitoring their breath, and it helps them perform better. This is at the Olympic level. The best thing you can do, it doesn't matter. You could talk about the most elite training in the world. I've gotten to work with some Green Berets in the past. And I'll tell you, we could be out sharpshooting. And look, the number one thing I'm gonna get them focused on before any technique is management of their breath. Exercise, management of your breath. Think about the things when you don't manage your breath, right? It's called hernia. You really got to manage your breath throughout the day, and you really have to take care of your breath throughout everything that you're doing. But most people aren't even consciously aware of it unless they're like in their yoga class. We've got to bring our breath back to it. Breath is life, but we forget about that. So all these, I think, are common sense. And as we move through them, you're going to find an extraordinary level of just amplification of all your physical energy. Now, as I share these, remember, I'll share some additional distinctions in your performance plan for physiology, the same thing I would give to an Olympic athlete to start with, and everybody I talk with. When we say physiology, the most important thing we must always start with, above everything and all else, is optimizing our brain, and it optimizes our body, and it optimizes our ability to breathe. It optimizes everything that we do psychologically, and you already know it. I hit it all the time. It's your sleep. So how have you been doing? Have you tried the 5x50 plan that we talked about in the foundation section of this training? Remember, get 50 minutes more sleep than you usually do and start ramping that up to 8 hours per night. Every single thing that we know, over 50 years of sleep studies, says the average adult needs 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Those who can get less than that are not only fooling themselves, they're stealing from themselves, their family, their future, and their performance. And I'll say it again, I know I said it in that video then, all of those myths out there and those short-term, short-sighted, small sample studies that say that people can get by on 4 or 6 hours of sleep had no enduring, long-term, highly scientific, social peer-proof research behind them. They were so minimal, but people said, oh, wow, look, 3 guys can get by on this much sleep. Oh, look, 100 people got through on this sleep study. It is not us. And I'm going to say that over and over again. Sleep is everything to everything that we know about your natural rhythm as a human being, to everything that we know about how your digestion works, counts on your sleep. Everything you know about your psychology counts on that. Your cognitive scores go up by almost 20% in less than 48 hours when you get that 50 minutes more of sleep than you did the previous 2 nights. It's a game changer to get your sleep back. So everything you need to do from everything we talk about in physiology is going to rely on this base of you getting good nights of rest. And believe me, I know how hard that is. You get stressed, you get business, maybe you have kids, new infants. It is a challenge, and I don't minimize it. But here's the thing. There's nothing more important in terms of your intelligence and your psychological health and your physical health than good sleep. It's got to be the base, and you have to make it a priority. Most people think that's a throwaway thing. It's okay, because you can survive. It's no question you can survive. It's like you can do 4 hours of sleep and survive the next day, but we can do a cognitive test on you, and you're basically impaired as if you had 4 to 6 alcoholic drinks. Like, it's like we think we can get away with it. You really can't. And it shows up in stress, time, fatigue. It's very, very, very challenging on you. People actually breathe less oxygenation throughout the day when they're fatigued because of lack of sleep. I mean, it adds up everywhere on top of you. Now, I know you're like, gosh, Brendan, why does he handle it? Because it is the next level for most people. And so if you don't have a sleep routine yet, you need to set it up. Remember, no digital screens in that hour before sleep. None. At all. None. Right? There's a little, I'll give you some extra tips that you can do in your performance plan for sleep. Some people say, I just really can't sleep. Okay, great. Here's some supplementation. If you're really struggling with it, try this. If you've had a long-term, enduring challenge with anything we talk about in physiology, please, big disclaimer, talk to your physician. Go see your doctor. Consult a medical professional. I am not giving you medical advice here because I can't. I don't know you. I don't know your background, your story, your genetics, your blood work, all of that. Anything I say here, please consult your doctor if you make a tremendous change to anything you're doing in your personal health routine. But I can share with you, if you've struggled with sleep, you must get tested for sleep apnea and you must get a routine on, right? Dim the lights down that last hour. Make sure there's no screens on. When you get into bed, be in a good place. Drop the temperature of the room to make it a little cooler. People sleep better when the room is cooler. All these little things you can do to start adding up. Just slowly get to bed. Think about that slumbering, lumbering bear going into hibernation, right? The bear is not bolting into the cave, smacking its head all over the cave and knocking itself out. It's not doing that. It's just like lumbering into the cave. It's time for bed. Here we go. You got to slow down that day. It will give you so much vitality back. Everyone's like, what's your ultimate sleep? I'm like, I sleep. You know, it's like my client and friend Ariana Huffington always says, she's like, I slept my way to the top. And she means sleep, not sex, okay? She really did. She made a priority in her life, and it changed her performance in historic ways. Okay, next, in your body, we've got to get you to open up and get more flexible. A goal in your physical vitality has to be flexibility. That comes from stretching. You need to have a stretch routine. As you hear from my 550, every morning that I wake up, first thing I do, boom, glass of water. Second thing I do, boom, downstairs, and I stretch for 15 to 20 minutes every morning. It opens up all the energy in your body. And it also does something very vital and important. It helps you manage physical stress. A lot of people, they're so tight everywhere all day long like this. No wonder they can't live a good life. They're just, you know, they've got so much physical stress on their body all the time. It's sending all of those hormones in their body into like reaction mode. And the more tense you are physically, we can see the more tense you are mentally. And I don't mean this as opinion. We can see this in fMRI. We can see this on actual brain scans. Like if you get real tense physically, it shows in your brain. You think differently. You make decisions differently. So think about, like right now, honestly, take an assessment. I know this is common sense, but stand up right now if you're watching this video. If you're in the car listening, just take a sensation of your body. Do you have any points that are really stiff or painful? Do you feel like your hips are really loose if you do some rotations? Are you really loose there, or is it really tight? If you bend over slightly, do you feel a lot of tension in your back? If you rotate that shoulder, is there any pain or pinches there? Really just take assessment. If you roll your neck left and right, side to side, do you have to force it because it's kind of really stiff? Or are you overall loose? I can share with you my secret to being a great presenter is I'm flexible. I'm loose in every single moment. And it's not just mentally I'm open, I'm truly, physically, energetically open because I'm flexible. And I spend so much time on that. You know, one of my great mentors and heroes in life who just turned 80 not too long ago was Harvey Mackay. And Harvey Mackay wrote a book, How to Swim with the Sharks Without Being Eaten Alive. He's the founder of the $100 million company, Mackay Envelopes, Mackay Paper Company. And he is an extraordinary mentor, lifelong legend in the motivational field. You know, over 10 million copies of his books have been sold. An extraordinary guy who's been married over 50 years. You know, built companies, hundreds of millions of dollars, incredibly influential in the sporting world. I mean, just an amazing guy. And he told me, you know, just past couple months ago, that he ended up getting a flexibility coach, a stretch coach, someone who comes over once a week, like a masseuse would, and just stretches on him. It's the same people, the same guy, I guess, who does the Minnesota Vikings teams. Yes, did you know athletes have stretch coaches? Like, that's what high performance is. You gotta get your body flexible. Like, you think about the most incredible athletes in the world, they're incredibly flexible. Like, even the highest performing, if you ever met an NBA star and watched them how they can move their upper body and trunk, you're like, wow, it's impressive. You talk to the greatest quarterbacks of time, their flexibility in their upper body is extraordinary, even though they're incredibly powerful. You've got to get that next level. You've got to start stretching if you don't have a routine. Third, now let's on breath, watch what happens. Let's do the 10 deep breaths per hour move. Very, very simple. Every 50 minutes, if you're doing 5 by 50, if you're not doing 5 by 50, please go back and watch that video. Put it in your life, it will change everything. But if you're not doing it, then just make this guaranteed to me. Every hour, you will get up, close your eyes, bounce in place, take 10 deep breaths. That's all I want you to do. 10 deep breaths. A deep breath doesn't come from the shoulders like that. 10 deep breaths comes from your stomach. Diaphragmatic breathing. Out, in, like a balloon. Out, in. And you breathe in. That's 2 deep breaths. You do that while bouncing in place, which will help optimize the breath. Versus if you're just sitting, breathing 10 deep breaths, you're welcome to do that, but I'd rather have you stand and bounce to engage your physical body, and it will also make the breaths go deeper as you count because your physical body is trying to pull in more breath. With movement, our body requires more breath, and that's, I just want you to stand, shoulders are released, completely flexible and loose, stand every hour, close your eyes, take a nice deep breath in 10 times, count them off. If you work at a company, I know people are like, dude, I can't do that because I work at a company. It'd be weird to do it at my cubicle. I'm like, you know what? Go to the bathroom. You should be grabbing some water and standing and stretching every hour anyway. Go to the bathroom, shut the stall door, and do it. And if people hear you breathing deeply in the stall door, at least they can tell by your feet you're alone. It's nothing weird. Make sure you breathe every hour, 10 deep breaths. All I'm going to share with you right now, if that's all you did today, every hour, on the hour, or every 50 minutes, see, remember, I do every 50 minutes. Every 50 minutes, I get up and I do this, and we're like, no wonder he's got so much energized. He's breathing. Common sense, not always common practice.